Take a moment to notice where the breath is flowing or not, without trying to fix it. Can you instead observe? Observe and allow yourself to be. Bringing our heels in towards our buttocks now for our Pilates pelvic curls. Squeeze your glutes, press through the heels, lift, and then inhale, lowering your low back to the floor again. Exhale, we peel our low back off the floor, and inhale, lowering back down. Keep going with that, lifting one vertebra at a time on the exhalation and lowering back one vertebra at a time. Squeeze your glutes and press through the heels before you lift so that the glutes are doing the heavy lifting here. I can't say it enough that we try and move one vertebra at a time here, because that really charges up the correct muscles. You're doing really good. Now pulses. Lower partway down and back up. Much smaller range of motion, but still that big squeeze on the glutes. It's like your hip points are dropping back into the body here. Can you relax your shoulders and face as we lift our heels? Full range again, lifting all the way up and lowering back down all the way, one vertebra at a time. Think of your hip points dropping back into your body, back down towards the floor as you lift up, back down towards the ribs. This really targets the glutes with the heels lifted. Pulses. So part way down and back up. This one's a lot harder, right? Keep going. We just have a few more. So this glute sequence is quite short and it will charge up our muscles for the standing poses. Lowering all the way back down, toes slightly turned out, feet as wide as your mat, full range. We lift, squeeze the knees open and lower all the way back down. So pelvic curl to Pilates. As you squeeze the knees open on the exhalation, make sure the hips stay high so they don't drop back down as much as possible. So exhale, we lift, we squeeze the knees open, and then lowering back down one vertebra at a time. Roll out onto the sides of your feet on the exhalation as you squeeze those knees wide. Keep rolling up and down through the pelvis. Now optional, step 2, keep lifted and squeeze the knees wide and close. Squeeze the knees wide and close. So like pulses, but it might be a slightly bigger range to get that squeeze on the sides of the glutes. Our option 3 is to pause and hold. Keep the buttocks away from the floor and then lower back down. Heels in towards the buttocks again. Peel yourself off the floor. Lift one heel and then the other. That's our option 1. We're pressing through the supporting heel. Our option 2 is to lift one knee and then the other. Now keep those hips high by pressing down through the supporting foot and heel. That's our option 2. Our option 3, extend the leg. Pulses, like you're pressing your toe to the ceiling. Make that glute do the work. Keep the pelvis steady and then swap sides. So it's like there's a string between your hip points, drawing them closer together. Tighten that imaginary string so your pelvis stays rock steady. Heel to the floor. Lower all the way back down. Lift your heels now again. Step your foot out and then step your foot back in. Step your foot out, right foot back in. Left foot out, left foot back in. So swap sides with which leg is leading and coming back in. Be mindful that your glutes stay high off the floor. Lifting up through your pelvic floor muscles can help, like you're lifting an imaginary hammock back up into the body. Now lift the heels and pulsing. Lower back down, Supta Baddha Konasana. Interlace your hand behind the left thigh, foot to the sky. Sweep the knee across the body, twist. Back to the center, other side. So create spaciousness in your knee, your buttocks drawing back to the floor. Again, twist. Notice the breath. Then rolling all the way over onto your side and into your balasana. Maybe we relax the lungs before we inhale and relax the lungs before you exhale. Coming up into your tabletop position, extend left leg and right arm. That's our option 2. Our option 1 is just the leg. Hold. Imagine you have something really tight around your pelvis here as you swap sides. So glad wrap or cling foil as they call it here. So really tighten that imaginary glad wrap or cling wrap around your core so it doesn't move. Swap arms again and pulses, left leg, right arm. Keep the back really steady and swap sides with those pulses. Use the muscles underneath the shoulder blades to draw shoulders towards the glutes, towards your buttocks. Tabletop position, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, unfurl. Half up dog, inhale. Exhale, belly lifts, rounding. Inhale, lengthen. Repeat that, rounding up through the spine, coming into our half up dog. And then rounding again before we lengthen like a child's pose. Really enjoy moving and articulating your vertebra. Enjoy activating your abdominal muscles. Back to our tabletop yoga. And then extend the left leg out and open leg and arm to the side. Turn your toes out slightly. That's option 2. Option 1, lower your foot and arm in between, kicking the leg and arm out to the side. Again, this is a Pilates move, although I'm using some yoga terms here, and that means the pelvis is really steady, that it's really core-centered work. And that's what makes it challenging. Coming into your malasana, maybe you rock forward and back here. And back to our 4-point kneeling position, opening leg and arm out to the side and lower back down. In between is the option 1, or simply open out to the side, back to the center. You should really feel the squeeze in the side of the glute here. So the hip is turned slightly out of that leg. Keep your hips nice and steady. Belly is as tight as a drum. Blow the tension out through the mouth because the belly is tight. Hands back to the floor. Puppy pose. So extend fully like I'm doing here, or elbows on the floor and head lifted. See if you can relax the lungs. Coming back up and cat-cowing the spine. So more rounding and concaving. Inhale, we concave, and exhale, we round. Feel free to make this your own, what feels good for you. I bend my elbows. I tuck my tailbone under first. Moving on to onto the side body. So half side plank, right knee is on the floor. You can lift that leg, lower it back down. That's our step 1 option. Or step 2 is pulses with that leg. Now we're targeting the side of the glute again. So squeeze into the side of the glute. And if your pelvis begins to rock, lower the leg back down and lift. It's all about control. This is a Pilates move again. Lengthen your spine, breathe, press the floor away with your hand, and back to the center and over to the other side so the foot is behind the knee. It's like a half side plank. Again, option 1, you lift the leg and lower. You can lift your arm if you want, optional. And option 2 is to pulse with that leg, or you can put your hand on your hip. Keep pulsing, squeezing into the side of the glute, and then lower back down. Back to the center and into your down dog. Breathe, notice. Enjoy. Walking hands to feet. Bend your knees before unfurling to stand, 1 vertebra at a time. Hands behind your head, lift the top chest. Bend your knees, draw your navel in, release 1 arm, optional, and then the other. You might want to do that again, supporting your head, warming everything up. Push kicks now. So doing a few first, kind of almost to get it a little bit harder than it needs to be. And now bringing your knee in towards your chest, rounding your back. So allowing the psoas to lift the leg, that slight rounding. Now imagine that there's a similar action happening as you come back to your push kicks. That your knee lifts and you extend the leg from there. Keep going. Exhale as you press the foot away. Keep going. Protect your face. Warming up your legs. Rolling back down through the spine now. Hips move towards the groins, pause, and then maybe you lift your sit bones, rebend the knees, lift your sit bones and rebend about 3 times. But make the sit bones lift. It doesn't matter if your knees stay bent. Release in any way that feels good before walking your hands back out, down dog. Nothing's important enough to hold the breath. So remember that as you come into your plank and your tall plank, rocking forward and back. Keeping the spine slightly rounded to activate our abdominal muscles. Down dog. Rippling forward And again, rocking forward and back, warming up our shoulders, our abdominal muscles. If you lose your muscular, hold, if it goes into your joints, come out and back in. Now coming back into that side plank shape on your right side, left leg lifts. You can do the pulse option, or you can come into full side plank, leg lift, star plank, and pulse that leg. It's the same thing. Either your bottom knee is on the floor, or you come into full side plank, back to plank, tall plank, and the option easier half plank, leg lifting, or full side plank, and the top leg lifts again and pulses. Just flex your foot, get into the side of the glute. We're doing about 10 of everything today. Back to your tall plank, your down dog. Extend the right leg back and up towards the sky. Exhale, center tiger curl. Inhale, thigh to the sky. Exhale, cross body tiger curl. Little pause. Inhale, thigh to the sky. Exhale, outer body tiger curl. Step your right foot beside the right thumb. Come all the way up, high lunge. Hands on the hips at first. Maybe you pulse. Then bend the back knee, press through the front ball of the foot to rise to stand. Now continue, we're targeting the back hip flexor. Can you draw your hip points into your body? We're working and activating the front thigh by pressing through the ball of the foot to stand. Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Warm up your back calf and release your foot. So you'll notice I'm kind of bending and straightening here. Keep going. Then Kali Mudra, and maybe you bring your left hip a little bit more in line with the right. Pause, hold. Hands to the heart, step the back foot in. Step the back foot back, bend the knee. Press through the heel and bring the left knee in towards the chest. Bend the back knee, lunge. And exhale, bring the knee in towards the chest. Now continue with that. It's a little bit, remember when we brought the knee into the chest from standing? It's a little bit like that. We press through the heel, and it's like from the slight rounding or the activating of our psoas that we're lifting that leg up. Bend the knee, press through the heel and lift the knee. Now optional, inhale, bend, exhale. We can keep lifting the knee, or we can move into kicks. So inhale, we bend, and exhale like a push kick again. So keep activating the supporting heel and that glute. You can lean forward more when you come to stand, and that's really going to target that glute. Press through that heel to come to stand, heel and ball of the foot. Make sure there's no clicking or no pain in your joints. So again, we have about 10 of everything today. Extend the leg and hold. You can keep it bent if you need to, but lengthen your torso. Bring your foot behind you again, just a little, and hinge forward from the hips. I know this looks easy. Come back to stand. You'll notice my hands are on my hips to try and get both of my hips level, the left hip in line with the right. And that's the work here. That's what we're warming up for. Then come back up to stand. Bring your left knee in towards your chest again. Extend the leg and pause. Breathe. Now, donkey kick warrior 3. Heel to the sky. Inhale, knee lifts back up. Exhale, heel to the sky. Bend the supporting knee if you can and press through it as the knee lifts in towards the chest. Continuing in your own timing. Inhale, knee lifts in. And exhale, heel towards the sky in your donkey kick. But just keep your hips facing forward, like there's headlamps on your hips. And both of those headlamps facing down and forward. Forward fold now. Optional. Right leg lifts up into a standing split and pulses. Try and warm up or activate glute and hamstring. Forward fold again. Maybe you bend your knees, unfurl to stand. Your glute is probably quite worked now. Extend your left leg out again. Pendulum it behind. And option Virabhadrasana 3. Inhale, bring the knee in. Exhale, extend. Inhale, swing the leg behind. Exhale, our warrior 3. Keep going with that. Try and rebend the knee as you bring it forward and then lengthen it as much as possible. Now what that will do as your knee comes in towards the chest, it will activate your standing glute a lot more. So really press through that supporting heel as you begin to bend that knee. And maybe you straighten it as you extend the leg. Your choice. Pause. Warrior 3. Enjoy the challenge. Hands to the floor. Now we have an option of revolved. It's a revolved option where we're working the hamstring and the glute and walking your leg back into plank. Lower the knees. And then our chaturanga is 3 rounds. 3 rounds of 1 to 3. Inhale, we lengthen. We unfurl on the exhalation. And 1 to 3 chaturangas. Keep going with that. Keep the upper back in line with the shoulder blades. Now I'm on my fists here, and that is just an option. Hands back to the floor, unfurl, full or half plank. Exhale, full or half chaturanga. Inhale, full or half up dog. Come back to the center, option to lift left leg and then right, but take as much of the back bend out of it before you do it. It will actually be harder. Down dog. Ripple forward into your full or half plank. Step the feet out and squeeze your inner thighs together as you shoulder tap. Keep going, isometrically squeezing your inner thighs together. The legs are still apart. Down dog. Ripple forward into your elbow plank. We're lowering to the elbow and pushing back up. Just swap elbows. For example, you lower with the right, you lower with the left, then you push up with the right, and then you lower with the left, and you push up with the left. So we're alternating sides with that. I know this is a challenging one, right? Keep that squeeze happening behind your shoulder blades, and then your down dog. Walking hands to feet. Forward fold, release the tension before unfurling to stand. Head comes up last. Step 1, you support the head again for your back bend. You release one hand and then the other. That's our option 1. Or hands on the low back, lengthen your low back down. Squeeze the belly, squeeze and lift it. Lift the top chest. Option 3, walk your hands down your thighs. Belly in, and as carefully as possible restack your vertebra. That might be when you really know how to move your vertebra one at a time. Lift your left knee in towards your chest, extend the leg out. We're pressing through our heel. This looks so easy, but I know you've probably figured out by now it's not. This holding of the leg, swap sides, right leg extends, little pause, foot to the floor. Take hold of the big toe, so left side. And then play around with extending the leg out. Maybe you hold. And maybe you open it out to the side. Back to the center, other side. Take hold of the right big toe. Play around with extending the leg. And opening it out to the side. You can keep your knee bent. Hip circles. So one leg at a time, rotating the leg in the hip socket. Make it feel good. Circular kicks, so leg sweeps up and around and back. Visualize that circle in your hip socket. Again, it's that action of the psoas lifting the leg. So you're lifting up through your inner thigh still. It's kind of inner front of thigh. And then other side with that. If this is too challenging, go back to the hip circles. Visualize what you're doing and think of it as a warm-up for your hip joint. Shaking that tree. Rolling back down through the spine, one vertebra at a time. Uttanasana, forward fold. Again, hips or sit bones lift. A good option if your hamstrings are tight are to keep your belly on your thighs, particularly if your low back tends to hurt. And I forced for years, or tried to, so walking back out into your down dog, and it doesn't work, particularly if you're quite active, if you're using your hamstrings for strength a lot. Now forearm plank. So lifting the belly. It's an ugly plank, which means slight rounding through the spine. Try and bring your heels directly over your toes if it's easy. Press back up, rest, down dog, before coming into another side plank option. More advanced option, physically, is to take hold of the big toe, but it's just an option. This should still feel relatively easy. So back to the center and other side at our Savasana. So half side plank is fine. Go back to those pulses with your leg. That's another option. Can you still breathe? Sure, we do meet the challenge in yoga, but we balance it with ease. Chaturanga, up dog. Back to the center, lift one leg and then the other. So I'm trying to keep my torso upright as I repeat that. Tuck your toes, down dog. Left leg to the sky. Exhale, tiger curl. Inhale, thigh to the sky. Exhale, cross body tiger curl. Get the rounding. Inhale, thigh to the sky. Exhale, outer body tiger curl. Step your left foot to your left thumb. Lunge. Hands on the hips is the option here as you warm up. Now bend the back knee and move towards straightening the front leg, but we're releasing our back hip flexor. That's what we're doing physically. So make the shape that does that for you. I'm really pressing through the ball of the foot as I rise to stand. Virabhadrasana 1, warm up. So my back calf tends to get tight when I exercise, like most people, right? Kali Mudra with the hands and level up your hips. So draw that left hip back in line with the right. Hands to the heart, step the back foot in, and then come back to your lunge, and knee lifts in towards the chest. Lunge, and then knee lifts in towards the chest. Exhale, we lunge. It's the hardest bit, probably, right? Inhale, knee lifts. Getting that action again of a little bit like a pendulum, but hip points move in to lift that leg, knee towards the chest. Flexing is a good idea for martial arts practice. Flexing the foot. It's just an option. So all your awareness on your hip points. It's like a slight rounding of the low back as you bring that knee in. Now optional, we extend that leg so it's like a kick, a push kick as you lunge and kick. But press through the supporting heel, get that glute on, keep breathing, all those things. Keep going, guys. We don't want to be using the energy of the adrenal glands basically in our yoga practice. That's why the breath, and we pause and hold with that leg extension. So that's why we try and balance effort with ease. Step the foot behind slightly so we can hinge at the hips. Now it's only about less than a foot between our feet. The back leg is behind. But it really is keeping the hips level that's important here. Hips move towards the groins. Step that foot in. And then donkey kick option, Virabhadrasana 3. Keep going and you'll notice that I bend my knee more and then I straighten a little as I come to stand. So that bending as you press the heel to the sky, it'll give you this option to press through the heel more, to activate the glute more as you bring that right knee in towards the chest. Forward fold. Option to lift the left leg and your pulses in your standing split. So strengthening the hamstrings, yes, for this pose, but lots of poses. Unfurl to stand. Extend the right leg again, and it's more important to get the spine long as it is mostly in yoga. Pendulum the leg back. Exhale, we hold. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, extend the leg forward. Inhale, we pendulum it back. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, press the leg out. Now it's the same action. You'll notice as I bring the leg forward, I rebend my knee. Both knees actually. And then I have the opportunity to press through that supporting heel more. To really fire up that supporting glute. It's a very similar action in lots of these poses. Hold your Virabhadrasana 3. Hand to the floor. Revolved Ardha Chandrasana. So again, leveling up those hips. Try and rotate the torso. Optional pulses. Step back. Plank. Lower your knees and prayer push-ups. You'll notice I'm doing micro variations. You can do unfurls, half push-ups, or you can do the full variation, whatever suits your body, your strength, abilities. hands back to plank position, so flat on the floor, chaturanga, up dog, back to more neutral as we lift one leg and then the other, and repeat that. So again, hamstring strength, glute strength. Reversal into your down dog, so belly draws in. Revolved down dog, you either have your hand on the floor or ankle. And then swap sides, opposite hand to ankle. Walk your hands back in, forward fold, drive through the feet to come to stand. Hands on the hips, Mabu option or toes turning outwards. Don't let your knees hurt as you tuck your tailbone under and squat. So Mabu martial arts, our toes would be facing more forward. Again, come back into it, pulse, but joints should never hurt. So be mindful, come out of it. One more time. Really tucking the tailbone under. Press up to stand. Shake out the tree, so shaking the tension out of the body. Right foot in front and closed door kicks, like a warm up for the hip in the opposite direction. You can come back to circling your leg in the hip joint, so keeping the leg bent, hip circles, or what I'm doing here. Keep going. Enjoy it. And then other side. Awareness into the body about how you're doing it. You're drawing your leg back into your socket, lifting up through slightly inner and front of the thigh, making your psoas do the work. Shaking the tree out again. Lift the right leg up, extend the leg forward, hold, keep your belly tight. Other side. Lift up through the inner thigh, hold. Take hold of the big toe, right side. Again, play around with extending the leg. It's more important that the torso is long, so for a long time at the beginning, the knee is bent. Sweep the leg out to the side. Drop your right hip down. Back to the center and other side with that. This is a strength and flexibility practice, so we're not sacrificing the body to make shapes. Back to shaking the tree. Rolling back down through the spine, one vertebra at a time. A little pause. Take hold of your elbows. That's an option. You can have your elbows on your knees if you want. I'm bringing my feet together to release down the side of the legs. And I'm straightening my legs, even though my belly is not on my thighs. That's because my back feels absolutely lovely in forward folds. Even though after a while my sit bones lift more, my back lengthens more, but it's safe for me. It feels good. Walking hands out, down dog. Rippling forward into our plank and running those legs out, knee to opposite tricep. Back to down dog. And now into the center, just running those knees out, just moving in normally, not cross body or anything like that. Back to down dog. This option, any side plank, but we can pulse the bottom thigh up towards the ceiling. Much harder option. It looks easier than it is. So half side plank or extend the bottom leg and work your inner thigh. Pulse the leg up towards the ceiling or sky. Down dog. Ripple forward into your plank, chaturanga, up dog. Now, little pause here as we lift the leg. And again, a little pause on the other side, really firing up glutes and hamstring. Right leg extends back, thigh to the sky. Exhale, center body, tiger curl. Inhale, thigh to the sky. Exhale, cross body, tiger curl. Your thighs on your tricep if possible. Inhale, thigh to the sky. Exhale, outer body, tiger curl. Step the right foot to the right thumb. Warrior 2 warm up. So warming up the legs, I'm kind of rebending and straightening a little bit. Just feel it. Interlacing the hands behind the back here. Warrior 2 to side angle variation. So back to the center, and then exhale, side angle with a clasp. You can reach the arms overhead here. Try to lengthen the right side of your body. Hand inside the inner thigh, and then reverse your warrior. Side angle variation. Exhale, and then inhale, reverse your warrior. Now you can keep going with that, or hand to the floor. Bringing your tricep next to the ear, nearly touching the ear. And with your eyes, look up at the fingers. Trikonasana, Iyengar variation, hand on the floor to begin. And then extend that, bring the arm overhead again, close to the ear, before stepping the back foot in for a different variation of Trikonasana. So unfurl. Your hand is in front of the shin, but if your joints are taking the load, bring your hand onto your shin for support. Otherwise, your core is going to have to really stabilize you here if your hand is just facing forward. Hands onto the hips, step the back foot in. Your right toes are turned out here. As you begin the preparation for side kick, lift the hip. Step the left foot in towards the other side, lift the right hip, and again, preparation for side kick. Keep going with that. Now the idea is to almost squeeze an imaginary ball between your calf and thigh. Keep the foot flexed, so we're squeezing into the side of the glute, getting that squeeze. Keep pressing through the supporting foot, your heel and the ball of the foot, as we lift the glute and the hip as high as we can here. We're preparing. Enjoy that. I really enjoy that move. It feels a little bit like Pilates, slowing it down, really getting the muscles fired up. So flexing that foot. Mabu, you can turn the toes out if you need to. And then lifting the left leg up. We can bring it to the ground. That's our step 1 option, and lift it. Or we hold and pulse. So lifting the leg out to the side. Foot is flexed. Squeeze into the side of the glute. Think of the glute lifting the leg up. This is going to really help us get better at our side kicks. Mabu again, tuck the tailbone. And then other side, option 1, we lift and lower the foot to the floor. We lift and lower, or we hold and pulse. Nice and hard, isn't it? Really get into that glute, really make it stronger. Mabu. Come back to your option. It's like your hip is lifting up higher to the ceiling each time you pulse. Mabu. And other side. So strengthening the outside of the leg, definitely the side of the glute. Again, pulsing. It really works, the muscles around the hip. Back to face forward. So back facing forward on your mat. Lower your knees, optional. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, we unfurl. So our hands are as wide as the mat for our push-ups. We have 1 to 3. And then we go back to our unfurling. So we do this 3 times. This is our second round. Upper back stays in line with the shoulder blades. Push the floor away with your hands. So last round. And it's like you don't want to come down, so resist the floor. Really charge your muscles up in the back, in the arms by resisting the floor. Hands back under the shoulders. Full or half plank. Chaturanga. Up dog, your variation. Back bent, and then bring your head back to neutral as you lift one leg and then the other. Do that again and hold. Just a slightly shorter hold this time. You must be getting tired. And again, back to down dog. Now polar bear push-ups. So allow the elbows to move out to the side, get a squeeze into your triceps. And get the back squeezing as you do this. Now this is our option 1. We can stay doing that, or we can lower our elbows to the floor and then push back up. That's our option 3. Our option 2 is to lower down and then lift one elbow and then the other. Just get the squeeze into the back, whatever you're doing. Don't hurt your shoulder joints. Not worth it. It just means muscles aren't strong enough. Use your muscles. Walk your hands back to your feet. Uttanasana. Use this to really release tension and then unfurl to stand. Lift the right leg and coming into our side kicks, slow motion. Obviously, if you're a martial artist, go for the kicks. Or go for the pulses if you find that more challenging. Try and straighten the supporting leg. I like slowing it down for me to get my glute on, to lift my hip and knee as high as possible. And of course, the pulses really help with that, and all the side planks we did. That's really, with the leg pulses, that's really helping us to get stronger for this move. Try to keep the foot flexed. The toes move towards your face. Think your way through it if you're doing it slow like me. Or really do a lot more and, just do lots of you could get 20 in, 30 in if you do martial arts. But exhale the tension. And find your belt. This is just an option. You can take hold of the big toe with your hands. I do like using belts, a yoga belt. Extend the leg out. So I draw the leg back into the socket with the belt. And you can repeat that. Or you can take hold of the inside of the belt, extend the leg out again, and then bring it out to the side, dropping your left hip down. Other side, either take hold of the big toe or belts. Props are very useful, for finding the truth of a pose. Lengthening up through the spine. Take hold of the belt from the inside. We have the option of opening the leg out to the side. Try and drop your sit bones down towards the floor, both of them. Let go of that belt. Shake out the tree. Hip rotations. Releasing the glutes a little bit. Change sides. Rolling back down through the spine. Little pause. Maybe you stand on your hands. Or like me, maybe you're bringing your feet together. I'm taking hold of the back of my heels, any forward fold. So when we balance effort with ease, we have to be mindful. Am I being lazy? So pretty much, am I doing too little? Am I still energizing the body? This is a strength practice. You can gauge that from how you feel afterwards and how you're feeling during. Am I using the energy of the adrenal glands? Do I feel wrecked over time from my practice? Or does it somehow give me more energy? So we're rocking the hips side to side here. In our salsa hips, our forearm plank, like we're lifting over a bar, and then dolphin pose, and leg lifts and pulses, hamstring and glute again. So big focus in this class. And lift that leg up. Sometimes it's not about flexibility, lifting the leg. In our standing split, for example, mostly that's hamstring strength. Again, back to salsa hips. Rocking from side to side. Are we breathing so we can calm our nervous system with the breath? Or at least noticing if we're holding it, that really helps. Back to down dog. Left thigh to the sky. Exhale, center body tiger curl. Inhale, thigh to the sky. Exhale, cross body tiger curl. Inhale, thigh to the sky. Exhale, outer body tiger curl. Step your foot to your left thumb. It's into the center of the mat, stepping the foot, and warm up for Virabhadrasana 2. Interlace the hands, pull your shoulders down towards your hands to the floor. Pause. Now we have this option of side angle variation with a clasp. It's reverse warrior with a clasp too, but it's very slight. Keep going with that. And then reverse your warrior. And bringing your hands, extend them for a second before reversing your warrior. And we have the option of hand on the inside of the leg, side angle variation. Keep going. We're trying to draw the left hip back, the left sit bone towards the left heel here. The right heel. Hand to the floor, that's just an option. Arm bone in the socket. Draw your left leg out of the socket towards the knee. So bring space in that hip joint. Trikonasana. Shoulder blades together. Bring that hand overhead. Step the back foot in, optional. So easier for the hamstrings, but harder for our core strengths and our glutes, this option of Trikonasana. So place your hand on your calf if you need to. or even up higher, but lengthen from tailbone to crown of the head. Hand to the floor. Now Skandasana, but I'm going to turn around to face you now. You stay where you are if you can see your video. Coming into Skandasana, pausing, releasing the tension. Flex your right foot. Feel free to mirror me in these videos if you want. So doing opposite leg and then coming over onto the other side. You can press through the floor or just use your muscles to rise to stand. Skandasana on the other side. And again, you can press up to stand and back to your Skandasana, or you can push through the floor with your hands, if that's an option. Now lunging from side to side, our toes stay on the floor this time. Open your thigh, your inner thigh with your elbow. So use your hand to open that inner thigh of the bent knee. Take a little pulse anywhere where there's tension. Walk your feet closer together for your wide-legged forward fold and a twist. So feel the squeeze around your shoulder blade. We lengthen before we twist, and other side, like someone is pulling you by a string out through the crown of the head. Wide-legged forward fold option. And drop the crown of the head down towards the floor. Lift your sit bones up, weight into the outside of the feet. And then squat. Toes are turned out this time. Press your elbows inside your inner thighs. And you're drawing your thigh bones out of the sockets. So it's a little bit like our side angle pose. We want to bring spaciousness into the hip joint, and that is so good for our joints. Often after exercise, I use those warrior twos and side angles to release the compression. That can happen from fitness activities that are primarily based on strength, weights, etc. We need to bring this space back into the body, back into the joints. Now your hands might need to come to the floor to come out of this. I'm going to use a blanket in a little while to slide the leg on. Coming into our child's pose in between, to rest, to breathe, to refuel the body. Now, firstly, I'm bringing my back knee on that mat as I bring my left foot forward and open the hip. You might not need this. This is just for extra padding. Press forward with the hips so you feel where the tightness is without making it tighter. You can bring your elbows to the floor in lizard pose, or you can bring your left tricep underneath your left thigh for push-ups. This is our step 2 option. Or our Kundinyasana 1. You lift both legs off the floor, pretty much from Chaturanga. Back leg comes back to the floor. It just comes. That pose will simply come from a good Chaturanga, a hamstring release. Stretching through the toes. Puppy pose. Can you release the tension? Can you calm the body? Can you calm the nervous system? Stepping the right foot up, and we have loads of options here. We'll all start with the hip opening option. Wiggle from side to side. I'm pressing my hips forward here to find the tightness. And to release it, elbows to the floor, lizard option. I squeeze my knee back in towards my shoulder. And option 2 is chaturanga push-ups with your tricep under your thigh. So that's really preparing strength and flexibility. And then we can lift both legs. I almost forgot how to do this. I was like, how do I lift the back leg? But I figured it out for a second anyway. Coming back into your Balasana. And again, use your breath. So working mindfully with the body, I know I offer a challenge and that's usual, but meeting it with some grace, some level of grace. Now our step 1 option here is a half pigeon, and that is an awesome option at this stage of the class. Or we can have a little play around with either a half split or a split warm-up. It is actually just a warm-up. So using that blanket, which is optional, to slide the leg out and back. And I love the option of either socks, which will allow you to slide on the floor, or a blanket. And then the middle split option, again, it's limbering up is what we're doing. We're sliding out and back, cajoling. Now feel free to have a play around with where you are now for your splits warm up. Get the inner spiral, so hands on the big toe side of the foot. If you're doing this, stick the bum out, because it's usually the back thigh that needs the release. And maybe you come back to the center. Try not to force the hamstrings. We've done a lot of hamstring strengthening, so they're going to be tight even though we've released them. But B, it simply doesn't work. There are some techniques that you find the tightness, but we have to release into it. I'm trying to do that here with the breath. Drag that blanket or your leg back to yourself if you're wearing socks. And then the half pigeon option. So we're all going to be releasing the back thigh here. We have the harder option of heel on the blankie, and you slide the leg forward and back. So it's this kind of rocking and rolling action that the body loves, and our middle split practice of sliding forward and back, it's cajoling. And you might be better off staying with that action of warm up or inner spiral, hands on the big toe side of the foot, stick the bum out, you lean to the side slightly. Find where the tightness is, cajole it, and maybe you sit into it. No rush. It really is just a warm up here for split. It's, from the poses we've been doing. So try not to force yourself into it. Coming out of this. And Baddha Konasana, rocking legs from side to side. I like this kind of, it's a little bit like a bounce, but it's a releasing of the glutes. They might be very tight. Now we do have a cool down, but it's quick. So either one leg in front and you hinge forward and you swap legs. Or harder option of we're bringing one leg on top of the other, sometimes called shoelace pose in yin, but the knees are stacked. And we're getting into the side of the hip, the glute, the leg, so releasing the glute. So any hip opener really. And then swap sides. We cross the legs on top of each other. We bring the feet as close towards the buttocks as possible. and hinge forward. Are you releasing or tightening? So cajole, be gentle, be kind. Try not to say to yourself, oh, I did this yesterday, so I'll push myself into it today. Every day different. Every day is different. Now, rolling back down through the spine onto our back, and hip circles or something else that feels good for you now. Changing the direction with the hip circles. We did a lot for the glutes. Thigh to the chest, hug it in. Sit bones on the floor. Flex your foot. Then press your foot to the sky, buttocks to the floor, and open your leg out and across the body. Again, releasing the glute. Try not allow your other foot to roll as you sweep the leg. Now you can allow that foot to roll as you twist. Back to the center. So it is pretty quick. Hug the knee in towards the chest. You can pause the video at any stage. Take a little bit longer in your cool down and release. And then interlace the hand, still releasing the hamstrings. Foot to the sky, buttocks to the floor. We open the leg out to the side and across the body. Steady hips. Releasing the side of the leg and glute still. It's like a warm-up, even though this is a cool down. Cajole. Sweep the knee across the body into a twist. And I actually forgot the knee to the chest there, so do it if you can, or otherwise just legs up towards the sky. Bring your feet into Supta Baddha Konasana again, have a little release. What feels good for you? Maybe it's happy baby, maybe you just do some other poses here. But target the side of the leg and the hips, the hip joints. Have a play around with releasing your ankles and feet as you bring the legs up to the sky for a very quick little variation of an inversion before you full body stretch and release. Take a moment to notice where the breath is flowing or not, without trying to fix it. Can you instead